In this Behind the Brand video, we are going to showcase the king of high ticket sales, my man, Dan Lok. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Henry Kaminski here from uniquedesigns.net with another Behind the Brand video for you guys. Today, I want to showcase a personal brand that I happen to really enjoy following, and it is my man, Dan Lok from danlok.com and AKA the king of high ticket sales. So the reason why I want to showcase Dan Lok today is because he is the definition of what prolific means. And in order to stand out, in order to have a personal brand that really cuts through all the noise and all the nonsense in your niche, you have to have a prolific personal brand. You have to have one that really stands out, that really showcases who you really are as an individual, because you're going to repel the non-believers and the folks that are just anti what you are, and you're going to attract the folks that see themselves in you, okay? Or align with the values that you represent and the mission and the vision that you have. When you play the middle, it is the worst place to play. Why? Because nothing happens there. You know, I see too many people just hiding behind their brands, afraid to really truly put themselves out there because they're afraid to be judged. Let me tell you something, you're gonna be judged no matter what, so you might as well do it anyway. So let's take you behind the scenes real quick, or should I say, pull back the curtain on Dan Lok's brand and go over some of the real highlights that I wanna introduce you to and want you to start to think, how can I infuse this into my business? How can I take some of this strategy and bring it into my business to help level up my personal brand? Okay, so right away, he trademarked the phrase, the king of high ticket sales, which I think is crucial when it comes to being known for something and owning the key phrase. Right? So understanding that and really owning that space is what is going to help you stand out. People want to connect you with something, right? So when you're trying to be everything to everybody, you wind up being no one to anyone, right? So that is what we need to do here. So when you're creating your personal brand, you want to be known for one thing. So this guy dialed in on high ticket sales, and let me tell you something, I consumed a lot of his content, and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to high ticket sales. I use some of his strategies and they work tremendously well. And so I haven't bought any of his products. However, I do consume his content quite frequently, and you know, I like it, but I understand why people don't like it. And I want to talk about that. So obviously, look at him. He's dressed really well. He's always in front of a Bentley or a private jet. And some people can't stomach that stuff, which is fine. Those people aren't Dan's clients anyway. But one thing that Dan knows really, really well is that he knows that this premium stuff, this high-end look and feel, the cars, the money, the cars, the watches, this is what grabs people's attention in 2018 for whatever reason. So he plays it up. He plays it up really good. So I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm saying that you need to draw your stake in the ground and really just own what it is that makes you tick and not be afraid of getting judged, right? So as you continue down the page here, you know, his website is really, really polished. It's a great example of what a personal brand website should look like. Obviously, it showcases him to a T. He's got a lot of call to actions here. You can subscribe to his podcast. You can register for, look at this, a certification program. There's a lot. There is a lot of user experience here, which is really good. He's got a great call to action above the fold that brings you to this page here, which is really, really well written. I don't know if he did the copy himself. I know he has a copywriting background. However, it's written really, really well. He makes some really solid points. You can go to danlok.com and read all of this on your own. But, you know, he makes some really solid points. He's drumming up the passion and the impact and the influence and the adrenaline, really, and the emotion with all of this copy. And then he's got his call to actions down below. This is to get him to coach you, I believe, one-on-one. And so, again, really, really great user experience here and driving folks to a sale, okay? Because that is what a website is for. It's to sell, okay? If you're just putting out fancy, you know, designed websites out there that have terrible optimization to convert a visitor to a customer, you're wasting a lot of time, money, energy, and space, really, on the internet. So this is his homepage. Love the way it's laid out. He's got some free content here, free webinar. He's got a link to his YouTube channel, which is fantastic. He's got over 1 million followers there. 908,000. And he's growing this thing very, very rapidly. So big shout to Dan for really putting in the work and the effort into his branding. I mean, look at it. It's extremely consistent. You know, when you see something of Dan's online, you know it's exactly him right away because he keeps the logo consistent, the color scheme consistent, the look of the graphics consistent. Really, really good stuff. Okay, this is his Instagram page. Really great stuff. Okay, so taking a peek at some of the behind the scenes is always with his wife. He's got some great video content. His engagement, look at his engagement, 1,000 comments, 10,000 likes. You know, he knows how to engage his what's the word? I lost my train of thought. His audience. Okay, so he's got some great videos here. He's got this Boss in the Bentley series. Look at his thumbnails on his YouTube channel, okay? They're all him, which is good. He's got some different ones in here as well, but I like it. But these thumbnails are getting him 30,000, 37,000 views, 25,000 views, 30,000 views. So he knows what he's doing when it comes to grabbing attention. So if not anything at all you get from today's video, go check out Dan and start to pay attention to how he communicates. You know, one of the things that he gets scrutinized for is his language. But I understand where he's coming from with that because it's funny. Until I went to one of Tony Robbins' events, right? I thought that Tony Robbins was this like prim and proper and polished guy because all that you see of him online before you go to one of his seminars is that you never hear him curse, and he's got this influence and impact, but you never hear him, you know, curse, right? Until you get into his seminars. And then this guy curses like a sailor, but he does it for impact. And that's exactly what Dan does. You know, he's doing it for impact. But one thing I did see recently with Dan is that I see that he's like bleeping stuff out now in some of his videos, which I think he's starting to just see the trend. I don't think necessarily that you need all of that swearing for impact, you know, anymore. I think people are kind of over that. I think if you have some real solid value and message that you're giving, I don't think you need that. I think people are going to resonate with the true value there, and I don't think they're going to need that impact. So I think maybe that's why he's doing it. I'm not sure, but I think it's a nice touch. I mean, a curse word here and there ain't going to hurt nobody. But at the same time, you know, overdoing it, you know, you might start to attract a different crowd, you know. So that's one of the things that I wanted to point out there. But getting back to the whole prolific part of Dan Lok. Dan Lok really doesn't give two shits about what it is that you think of him, and he owns everything that he does. And this is why I wanted to showcase him today, is because, again, like I said before, too many of you guys are playing it safe. You're too afraid to be judged. You're too afraid to hear what those naysayers are going to say about you. And listen, like I said, people are going to talk shit no matter what. So you might as well just do it anyway. Do it for you, if anything at all, because that's what matters most. If you're not comfortable in your own skin, your audience is going to pick up on that, and they're going to second guess your credibility, your authority, your authenticity. And you don't want that, because when you're building your personal brand, the biggest thing that you want to do is build that relationship. You want to build that trust. People do business with people that they trust. So you put it out there the way you want to be perceived, and you let them make their decision. When you build your brand for other people, right, you're already starting out on the wrong foot. I've been there. I got the t-shirt. It's not fun, because eventually you attract all the wrong people, and then you have to redo it, right? When you make that 180, when you make that big switch, right, people are going to drop like flies. People are going to call you out. They hate change. So they're going to rattle your cage, right? But it was some turbulent times when I did that, but I got through it, right? And when you do that, it allows you to really start to attract the right people into your life. And when you really start to put the right purpose out there, that's when everything changes. But I don't want you to put one side of yourself online, right, and be a completely different person when somebody meets you in person. I've told stories about this, in the past, where you meet these online personalities and they are nothing like the way they portray themselves online. And that, to me, is a big no-no. I lose tremendous respect for those people immediately. And it's just not something that I find authentic at all. And, I think when you realize that, it's okay to beef things up. Like they say that the camera, takes away 20 to 30% of your energy, right? So you have to bring that energy. Now, this isn't a problem for me because I'm tightly wound and I'm not afraid of the camera, and I'm not afraid to put it all out there. So, I really don't have to worry about that loss of energy when I get on camera. It's funny. I was just in the city last week for a little dinner, and one of the guys that I was having dinner with was like, "Dude, you're like a human Red Bull." And I was like, if that's the way you see me, then that's okay. Because, when I show up, I don't want to be a limp noodle. I want to leave people better than the way they came into that room. And so that's the energy that I bring to the table. And, sometimes it's too much, but sometimes it is exactly what somebody needs to bring them to the next level. So that's just me. I own it, and I really don't care at the end of the day. So just getting back to Dan Lok, Dan Lok does a phenomenal job of being prolific and really standing out in a crowded market. And he knows exactly who he's talking to. He knows exactly who he doesn't want on his client roster. And he just brings it. And you're either going to like him or you're not going to like him. But one of the things that I pride him on is that he's got thick skin. He's got thick skin. The amount of hate and the amount of trolling that this guy gets on a regular basis. And believe me, when you get to that level, it's going to come. It's inevitable, right? And he just shrugs it off because he's comfortable in his own skin. He's confident in himself. He's gone through a lot in his life. You know, somebody saying something like, you know, you're too much, you're too flashy, or you're full of shit, or your products suck, you know, it doesn't matter to him, right? And so you're always going to get those people, and you know what? It is what it is, right? I always say when you get those kind of trolls, you look at the positive. Maybe there's some truth there, right? So you take that and you perhaps do something with it to make your brand better, right? But you always got to consider the source as well. If this guy, you know, is a troll online, you're probably not going to do anything about it, right? Because he's just trolling you, right? Or she's just trolling you. So anyway, just recognize, if anything at all, like I said, go check out Dan Lok's stuff, right? And start to consume his content. And you'll make your own decision whether or not you want to continue to follow him or not, right? I take Dan in doses. I'll be honest with you. If I watch too much Dan, it starts to get a little annoying, okay? There's only so many unboxings of watches and him driving in his Bentley and all that I can take. So I'll take a break and I'll come back and consume some of his content, and then I'll come back again. But I try to stay away from that content anyway. I'm very picky and choosy when I'm consuming his content. I really just want to go for the meat and potatoes. I'm not really interested in his stuff. Now, ask me that 10 years ago, I probably would have, you know, gave you a different answer. But I kind of got over that and started looking into just the pure value that this guy delivers. And he does. He knows his stuff when it comes to selling high ticket. He's got a great sales process, and a lot of his mentors are people that I follow and have learned from myself. So I feel like we're cut from the same cloth there. So again, guys, I really want you to understand that you got to draw the line in the sand. You have to be you and own it and not care. I know it's easy to say, but when you continue to do it over and over and over again, and you just put it out there, it gets easier, right? And you start to connect with the right people. The last thing you want to do is draw the wrong people to your client roster, and you take the business from the wrong people. It's nothing but headache. It's nothing but disaster. It really just kills your confidence. It kills your work ethic. It kills your whole business acumen. And I don't want that to happen to you. So that's why I'm doing these behind the brand videos, because I want to showcase what these big influencers are doing right. Okay. I really don't have anything bad to say about Dan. I always like to put a little bit of a critique in there, but I really don't have, you know, anything bad to say about him. I think he just does a hell of a job. And I think behind all of that toughness, I think he needs to put that armor on, because he is such a prolific character. Underneath all of that, I truly believe that Dan is a really nice guy, and he means well. I've watched a couple videos where he has gotten emotional, and you know, that's touching, you know. And I think the people that want to troll him and talk shit about him, they haven't dug deep enough into his brand, what he stands for, his mission, and they just don't know that side of him. So they're quick to lash out with their mouth, right? So that's all I got for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you grabbed at least 2 or 3 nuggets. Drop some comments below. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. Let me know if you have if you have questions, and if you haven't hit that little subscribe button, hit that subscribe button now and follow me. You know, continue to consume this content, because if you're looking for strategies and guidance when it comes to building your personal brand, I'm going to bring you as much value as I possibly can to help you get there. So have an amazing day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.